So hey guys, welcome back to Love Triangle, his little secret, and we are doing Cody's route, and let us see what he is hiding. With the cheerful dinner time over, Cody and I head up to the second room of the cafe. I've really missed the nighttime view from here. It's been like 2 months. Oh my god. That was quite a long time for you to be away, I say. He nods while continuing to enjoy the view. I'm sorry, Livia. Cody mutters quietly. At that, I tilt my head. For what? I've been too busy with myself lately. I'm sure it must have left you feeling lonely. Understand right now you're focusing all your concentration on the film. You don't need to worry about me. But yeah, it has been lonely. I lean against Cody, hoping to see the same view he is looking at. However, more than anything, I'm proud of your efforts. That's why I want to support you as much as I can. I softly admit to Cody how I feel. Besides, I don't know why I got basically. Besides, all my loneliness immediately disappears the moment I see your face. I see. He mutters back. Cody? It suddenly dawns on me that Cody hasn't been talking as much as usual. Something about his behavior seems strange, even ever since dinner. I don't remember what I said last time. I quickly study his face for a moment. Is he just tired? Is he just tired? No. I wonder if something could be bothering him. At first I thought he was simply tired from work, but something gives me the impression that there's more to it than that. Say, Cody, if I'm mistaken about this, please forgive me. But is something bothering you? I take the risk and ask him. I may not have the power to help him, but I want to at least try. Much to my surprise, he remains silent. Something is bothering him. The question is, will he talk to me about it? I quickly wait for him to say something, hoping that he will open up to me. Several seconds pass as he stands there silently hanging his head. Then finally he slowly speaks up. Forgive me, Livia. His response startles me. Does this mean he won't tell me? Perhaps it would be a breach of confidentiality, or maybe he just finds it difficult to talk about. Either way, it's sad that he won't talk to me. Cody's silence makes me unable to question him any further. For a while, neither of us say anything. Olivia, I know we haven't seen each other in a while, and I hate asking this, but Cody takes his time and chooses his words carefully. Could you let me be alone for a while? Okay, I understand. Apparently, he doesn't even want me, his girlfriend, at his side right now, even though he's concerned about me. Forgive me, it's just my head is so full of work right now. I can't seem to think about anything else. My heart aches as I listen to him, struggling to make his feelings known. When I saw how depressed he looked during dinner, I asked him to have coffee with me, hoping it might make a good change of mood for him. Perhaps that was the wrong thing to do. That's okay, Cody. I know the reason you're back at Lila Court is to focus on preparing for your role. If anyone should feel bad, it's me for distracting you. You're not distracting me. I don't think it will be any fun to be around me right now. Even Cody's voice sounds incredibly dispirited from him. I should let him be alone now. I gently caress his hair before stepping away. It's late. I'm heading back to my room. Give your eye. Good night, Cody. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. I quickly leave without giving him a chance to finish what he is about to say. I feel as if none of my words will reach him, even if I stay here and that makes me feel even lonelier. As I walk away, Cody makes no attempt to stop me. Why you? Livia? Ryan? When I exit into the hall, I am surprised to find Ryan loitering there. Is Cody still upstairs? Yeah, he said he wants to be alone. I see. Thanks for your consideration for him and his work. I haven't done anything worth being thanked for. If anything, I've just gotten in his way. I'm beginning to question just how well I really understand his work. Why, with my true feelings spilled out, I realize I sound even more dispirited than Cody did earlier. It's not your average career. I won't expect understanding it all to be easy. As his brother, I put up with his career for quite a while now. And let me tell you, when he's immersed in his work, he might as well have a hand with his care level attached. I've learned to just leave him alone during times like that. I think it's a blessing for him that you're around, particularly since you want to help him. If only I could be of some help. Honestly, what I'll say wasn't simply meant to console you. I really think you'll be a big support to him. I like to think so. He's more sensitive when he's preparing for his role. Even the smallest thing can make him lash out. Okay, I seriously need to sneeze. Oh, but it's not coming. It's like just there tingling. Okay, sorry. That may be one reason he's afraid to be around you right now, because he doesn't want to hurt you. That makes sense. I feel so sad he wouldn't open up to me about what's bothering him, but I do understand he was really concerned for my feelings. After talking with Ryan, I feel guilty for reacting so negatively when Cody asked to be alone. Especially when I remember the concern he showed, even though his hands are full with his own situation. Thanks again, Livia. I'm relieved to hear he didn't leave you feeling completely left out in the cold. We look at each other and laugh. The solemn mood around us gets a little brighter. Thanks to Ryan, I am feeling a bit better at the time I arrived back at my room. I will wait for an opening and try talking to Cody again. Sometimes when he's a little more approachable. Once I'm in bed with the lights out, my eyes close and my boyfriend's face immediately comes to mind. Cody is always so cheerful, light-hearted. It's painful seeing him this troubled. Still, even if all I can do is to watch over him from afar, it should be a support. It should be a support to him, right? I continue to think about Cody while slowly drifting off to sleep. Huh? I wake up with a start. Someone is rustling around under the blanket with me. Who else can it be? I immediately reach out for the room lights. Cody? I stare in surprise as Cody pokes his head out from under the comforter. He reminds me of a little kid undertaking some special expedition. Sorry if I startled you. Cody apologizes while blinking under the bright lights. I guess it's pretty childish for me to be sneaking into your bed like this after I told you I want to be alone. After you left, I just felt so sad. I couldn't stand being alone any longer. Cody timidly reaches out and wraps his arms around me. His movement seems rather hesitant. Will you forgive me for showing up here? What am I going to do with him? Oh my god! I want to say I'm honestly happy, but I want to see what he says when I say this. And I know he doesn't like when I treat him when he's act like childish, but whatever. I want to see how he's going to react. He's really childish sometimes. The playing look on his eyes startled me. To think that just earlier today he asked me to leave him alone. Oh God, you're such a child. I laugh bitterly. Sorry. He shrinks in disappointment. Reminds me of a small child waiting to be scolded. A smile remains on my face and I decide to forgive him. You know, when I immerse myself in acting, I know I tend to go too far. I even stop noticing what's going on around me. Sometimes it causes conflicts between me and Ryan. Ryan mentioned it to me earlier when I ran into him. He said you get really sensitive when you are preparing for your role. I was afraid from I'm sorry. Oh my God, he's too cute. I was afraid problems might arise between us too. That's why I said I wanted to be alone. After that, I realized how reassuring it was having you close by, even if we weren't actually talking. I'm sorry for acting so childish and spoiled. Cody, I feel just as bad. I think part of me still doesn't completely understand your work. And because of that, you ended up worrying about me when you shouldn't have to. I do understand that no matter how busy or distracted you are, you never stop thinking about me. You're way too kind to me, Lydia. I don't want to be seen as taking advantage of your kindness, but when you talk like that, it's hard not to. After a pause, he opens his eyes wide, seeming to realize something. A moment later, his pleasant smile vanishes. The sudden earnestness in his gaze causes my heart to leap. Among all the painful expressions one can endure, solitude is not one of them. He slowly entices each word in a low, deep voice. But if I refuse to accept that, will you change my life? Cody gazes at the window far to the sky beyond. Then he turns his eyes back to me. Was that something from his movie script? Or was he talking to me? But right now, I have you by my side. Cody? This is weird. Somehow my heart feels hot, but I don't really understand what he's saying. I want you to receive my everything. Cody grabs my shoulder and looks straight into my eyes. That day, when my brother suddenly told me he were moving, I was still a student. I had to listen to him. Cody's expression remains serious as he softly mutters, "Cody, what is he talking about?" Then the sudden remark from him leaves me completely baffled. Torn away from my friends, that's when I first learned what it means to... I can't read this right now. It's too cute. I want to take a picture. I just had to. Okay. Get serious, man. Get serious. That's when I first learned what it meant to be alone. Are you talking about yourself? You and Ryan when you were younger? Yeah. He nods, then faintly smiles. Did you think it was a line from my movie? Yes, for a moment I thought it might be part of your role, but then it sounded a little too true to life for dialogue. So I figured it might be something from your past. So in other words, I sound so dramatic that it sounded like something out of a fiction. He could say so. As an actor, that's the best praise I can imagine. Cody embraces me tightly against his chest again. That's both a line from my script and a scene from my past with Ryan. What do you mean? Wait, never mind. You can't tell me because it's confidential. I trust you. If I tell you what bothering me, are you willing to listen? To be honest, I could use some help preparing for my role. Sure. Great. He affectionately begins caressing my hair. The setting for my role in this film is awfully similar to my own past. It is? The story starts with my brother and only family suddenly telling me we are moving, and I end up in a new town with no friends. Because of that, my life takes a turn for the worst. My brother and I stop talking, and end up alone. After hitting rock bottom, I find the aspiration to put myself back up. It's that kind of heroic story. If you watch all the way through, you'll discover a message about just how wonderful it is to place your faith in others. Of course, my life never took such a turn for the worst. I've got the world's best girlfriend. I've achieved my first leading role, and my brother and I get along quite well. Cody explained with an embarrassing smile. But I remember that time when Ryan suddenly told me that we were moving, and I really fought back. And there are times I thought he would never understand me. Cody loses himself in his thought for a moment. This scenario brings a lot of memories of how I felt back then. Come to think of it, Ryan Ryan did kind of end up taking the place of your parents, didn't he? Yeah, he sure did. This film's protagonist is a lot like me. This film's protagonist is a lot like me. When I was younger, he grows lonely after he moves, and he doesn't get along with his brother, who is his only family. Thankfully, that's no longer true now. It's painful playing that part. Not really. In fact, I was actually happy when I received the script. It felt like fate, like the role was meant for me. Still, no matter how familiar I make his protagonist sound, we are not the same. I think that's what makes it so hard for me to get a firm grasp on this character's image. Taking the screenshots right now. That's what's troubling you? Yeah. None of my attempts to portray the role seems to be right. If the protagonist's life ends up taking a turn for the worse, wouldn't you call that a dark hero? I suppose so. Deep down, he's not a bad person, but he's not a saint either, and he's strong when it counts, but weak otherwise. It's not an easy role. It sounds quite difficult from another role you've played in the past. Definitely. A lot of your roles have been young men with audience appeal. We'll see a different side of you in this film, won't we? That actually sounds kind of exciting. If Cody were to place his hand against my chest, he would know how honestly excited I am. I wonder what it will be like watching him play a character with a dark past. I am glad to hear you say that. It gives me a little more incentive to pull it off. He turns to me and smiles. Oh, there is the Cody I remember. Why are we suddenly so happy? Why are you suddenly so happy? What? Is it that obvious? It's written all over your face. Joy and Ryan also say that the same thing. My emotions are too easy to read. I think it's charming. His lips softly press against my cheek. Cody? The tension between us has firmly finally been replaced by something more pleasant, and his lips slowly move closer to mine. Oh, I know. Cody, why don't you try talking to Ryan? See what he... Sorry, I'm just not because I remember what happened. See what he remembers about the time you moved. Hearing his point of view might add something to your performance. Oh. Does this mean our kiss is on hold? I'm sorry. I'll expect one later. Ryan's viewpoint. I imagine it will be quite... Oh my god, I just can't, guys. I imagine it will be... I imagine it will be quite different from mine. Cody begins thoughtfully muttering to himself. A smile begins to spread on his face while he continues to mutter as his thoughts seem to fall into place. Yeah, that might just do the trick. Thanks, Livia. He then cheerfully cries out, seeming to have made up his mind. I almost find it hard to believe he was apologetically poking his head out from under the covers a few moments ago. Suddenly, he burst into wide grin. Nivea, you're really the best girlfriend ever. Why so sudden? All this time, it's like I've been walking through fog, and now suddenly everything is clear. Cody squeezes me tightly and presses his cheek against mine. You can't imagine how good that feels. I'm glad you managed to cheer up. Now don't forget your kiss. Oh, that's right. He respectfully presses his lips on my forehead, then down to my cheek, and finally my lips. Each kiss is sweeter and more passionate than the last. Thank you, Livia, for staying by my side. A lot happened, but at least now I know the secret behind you acting all sensitive. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Someday, I'll know everything about you, and the best part is, I'll be the only person who does. Well, Olivia, Loisha, rest assured, cause I'm always yours, and everything I have to offer belongs to you, Cody Gray. It will not be long before the actor Cody Gray returns to his busy schedule. Deep in my heart, I tell myself to cherish this brief moment when I have him all to myself. And that's the end, guys. Oh my god. Yeah, so awesome. I love Cody. He's just too cute. But anyways, thanks guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy this. And I will see you in the next video. Toodaloo.